r/AskReddit. What's the stupidest way you've hurt yourself? I wonder if I can jump high enough to hit the doorframe with my head. As a security guard, I was running to deal with an issue and my flashlight came out of its pouch, went between my foot and the ground, stepped on it and broke my ankle. Pull Bart. As a kid, I saw a rabbit on the other side of a fence, so I tried to climb over, knowing full well it was hot wire. Naturally, I fell off the wood between the wires and damn near electrocuted myself when I fell onto the wire. Never did get a hold of that stupid rabbit. That pesky warbit. I was finishing up this intense jigsaw puzzle, which was on a low table, so I spent the entire night crouching on the balls of my feet. The next morning, my right foot turned purple and swelled up to the size of a large orange. I was on crutches for a couple of weeks. Whoa, never thought of puzzling as an extreme sport before. I should warn my retirement-age mother. Excuse, but did you just say you ended up on crutches because of a jigsaw puzzle? I tried to throw a dart into the bullseye on a dartboard that was on the floor, but threw the dart right into my left foot instead. A bar where I used to live placed dartboards about a foot away from the women's bathroom door. Dartboards that took regular, metal-tipped darts instead of the plastic-tipped ones. Imagine a bunch of drunk people throwing darts while women are trying to walk into the bathroom. I was 8 years old and running home on my lunch break so that I could watch Inspector Gadget, which came on at noon. I decided it would be neat to look down at my feet while I ran. And next thing I know, I've run full speed into a parked car. I think I laid like a dead body on the road for a good 5-10 minutes. It hurt so badly. I was late for my Inspector Gadget episode and never told anyone what happened. I thought I had nothing to add, but your stupid self-injury reminded me of mine. I was about 13, riding my bike home, full speed, after buying the newest release of Teen Beat, Teen Girl Heartthrob magazine. I was riding through a plaza, not in the parking lot but in the walkway. A woman opened the door to the Family Dollar, right in the collarbone. Thrown off my bike and had to go to the Avaya ambulance. My boy band pics had to wait. Alright, so my sister is only 1 year older than me, and when we were very young, me 3, and her 4, we were in the bath together. I guess my mom thought this way was easier. She left to get something and my sister said that I should dive into the tub like a dolphin. Me, being the idiot toddler I was, decided this was a wonderful idea and dove right in. Had to get 3 or 4 stitches and a lifetime of stories told about it. Drank from a glass bottle while walking, knocked out a piece of my tooth. Hit myself in the hand with a hatchet. It was so cold I didn't notice until I looked down and saw the blood. When I as a kid I was chopping wood, missed the log and went straight into my rain boot. I gave myself a black eye in my sleep, rolled into the corner of the nightstand. I had a dream one night where the very end of it had me jump off a cliff. Cue a Wile E. Coyote second of time dilation where I realized I was now off the side of my bed, about to start heading down. I hit the floor to find us, wrapped my neck in the tubing for my CPAP, almost hanged myself. When I was 13 I was walking down my street and there was a bee that landed on me right under my eye. In a brilliant move I brain farted and punched myself in the face trying to swat it away. My brother was teasing me while I was doing homework. Think I was maybe 8 or 9 at the time, and after a few minutes, I snapped, took my pencil, and went to jab him with the eraser end, so as to not hurt him too badly and get him to shut up. To get a bit more force behind it, I decided to wrap my index finger over the other end, the end with the point. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. A lot of crying and a trip to the emergency room later. I had a pencil point being removed from my finger. When I was about 16, I was telling some story to my sister's boyfriend. I was rather animated about it and began to flail my arms about, until I hit the glass fixtures of our ceiling fan and showered glass upon myself. Part of the glass cut around my nose and I began to rain blood. Was left with a nice scar and a decent story about situational awareness while speaking. I went to take a plate of Totino's pizza rolls out of the microwave. The plate was so ducking hot that I dropped it. Molten cheese bounced up and was burning through my ankle. I went to stick my foot in the sink to run it under cold water as if I am flexible enough to stand on one foot and get my leg up that high. I fell backwards and cracked my head like an egg. I had a 3rd degree burn on my ankle, 2nd degree burn on my fingers and 6 staples to the dome for ducking pizza rolls at age 30. I know it sounds very Looney Tunes, but I actually stepped on the head of a rake once and the handle hit me in the face. Annoyed Sideshow Bob groan. Ig. When I was 5, I was rushed to the ER twice in the same week. First I slid down the banister as the door below swung open and I crashed headfirst into the corner of the door. Then 3 days later I was playing on the radiator, slipped off, and smashed my head again. Doctors thought my parents were abusive and there was an investigation over it. Apparently, my brother was so accident prone as a child. Still is. Actually, it started with stupid stuff as a baby. Ate a bulb from a poisonous plant while in his walker. Fell off the deck at the babysitter's house. Young cousin was bouncing him on her knee and he tipped forward and hit the coffee table. And just progressed from there. Lots of stitches. A couple of broken bones. A concussion. There was definitely one doctor's visit where he was separated from my parents, who were also separated from each other, and all were questioned. He is, really, just that clumsy and lucky. My husband has decided, in hindsight, that it is because his feet are easily a size 13 and he is less than 6 feet tall. He practically has skis for feet. I've sneezed and had a sharp neck pain for a week after. This has happened more than once. I threw my back out sneezing once. That was not fun. Jumped from the roof of our house when I was 10 to see if it hurts or I'll survive. When I landed it was like an electric shock on my feet. Edit. I survived and yes it was stupid but when you are a child you tend to brag anything to your friends so yeah. Did hurt like hell though. I did the same thing except I used an umbrella instead of parachute and when my friend asked does it hurt I said no so that he does the same. That's hilarious but also terrible. I once went on my balcony to smoke a cigarette, only I forgot there was no balcony anymore because it was getting fixed. So I broke my leg falling 1 story down. Now the real irony was, my mother wanted to fix the balcony because it was old and she was afraid it might break off and I might hurt myself. Anybody who has TMJ knows you can aggravate it in the stupidest ways. When I was in high school I was eating an apple and my jaw completely froze as I was taking a bite. The apple was just hanging from my mouth suspended by my teeth. I looked like a horse with brain damage. I had to get my dad to extract the apple from my mouth. It hurt like a beach for a long time. I couldn't chew or talk properly for months and my entire face was crooked because my jaw was stuck off to one side. It healed eventually, but later I set it off again by eating a cookie. I once set it off by yawning too wide. It sometimes goes off on its own for no reason. I wish I knew what it was like to have a working jaw. Edit. Thanks for the gold. This is my first one. I was listening to music while getting ready to cook dinner and decided to use the frying pan as a mic. Did one of those look away from the mic to take a breath moments only to turn back dramatically at a powerful lyric and hit myself in the face with the pan. I can envision it, and I'm impressed. Thank you for the visual. I was leaning over a fence post trying to bend straight a nail I just mishit and bent. Only rather than use the claw of the hammer, I used the face of the head of the hammer, slipped off and smashed myself in the forehead. A good 15 years later and I still have a scar on my forehead like a shit Harry Potter. Not about me but someone who sat next to me in a class a while ago. She was clipping her toenails and a big toenail flew up and hit her in the eye and she had to go to the doctor cause it cut her eye. So she has a bandage eye for a while lol. Okay, I've had a similar experience. I was clipping my fingernails one time and one flew into the corner of my eye. Not too bad. My dad got it out with a toothpick. That still sounds awful. Buried at the bottom so I am safe. I was at work in a high stress office complex in Virginia. The work made you eat quickly and often at your desk. I was eating a baby carrot and tortilla chips. when all of a sudden I get stabbed with the edge of a chip midway chewing a carrot. Blood all down my throat. The chip was sharp, and I turned blue choking on baby carrots. Good times nearly getting killed by a chip and a carrot. Learn to slow down when eating. Edit. Of course my top comment of my account, 10 years old in February 2020, is of me choking on a baby carrot. Thank you kind stranger for the gold. I laughed at all the comments and hopefully those around me haven't figured me out yet. No one is safe on Reddit. Remember when your parents told you to tie your laces or you would hurt yourself? Well, they were right. I was that kid who ran with untied laces. I fell and instinctively put both my arms out. I landed on my right hand arm and managed to snap my forearm and dislocate my wrist, as I had dislocated my wrist before. As I was accident prone, I attempted to pop it back in myself in panic. I can't describe the crunchy noise that my arm made, or the pain I felt. I then had to walk to the nurse's office at my school, and wait for my parents to pick me up. They didn't think it was serious. At the hospital the x-ray was a little extreme, and I had to have surgery to correct my arm. 14 years later, and my wrist still isn't the same, and it still hurts in the cold. Life tip: tie your ducking laces. At work, when I moved to my new workplace, I was forced to switch from regular steel toes to heavy duty boots with a plate over the laces for my protection. While unloading a load of steel, the plate, that is there for my protection, caught on the lip of a steel beam I was stepping over on the stockpile and dropped me from standing up with my head 6 feet up to ground level. Very luckily, there was a 10x6 steel beam to catch me on the edge to keep my head from hitting the concrete floor, and I only had to get 12 staples and take a week off work. Of note, the only reason I bought the ducking boots in the first place is that the GM noticed I didn't have them and told me if I didn't show up next shift with them I'd be sent home. Broke my foot kicking the tires of a car I was considering buying. How hard did you kick? Just realized I have one for me too. When I was in middle school I was shaving my legs and then I brought the razor up to put it back on the shelf and I held it too close to my body and I cut my nipple open. Hurt so bad. Didn't tell my parents or see a doctor. Just had a swollen cut nipple for a while. Edit. Wow, I didn't realize I wasn't the only one. Thank you for all the comments. Some of these stories have made my skin crawl. Be safe people. In high school I was showing off with a staple gun and accidentally stapled myself in the chest. Then, when telling the story later, picked up a staple gun to demonstrate and accidentally did it again. I am not a clever person. At least you were consistent with your storytelling. Edit. Wow, thank you kind stranger for the silver. I was being attacked by aliens in a dream. When they backed me into a corner I kicked one hard in the head. I woke up immediately in pain. I had just kicked my wall in real life. Badly sprained my ankle. Couldn't walk properly for a week. The alien was probably so embarrassed that you owned him, so he implanted that memory of you kicking the wall instead of his big dumb alien brain.